number 32 in the national rankings. This is a great Northwest battle and perhaps a preview of what we could see at NXR Northwest. As for Boise, 5 consecutive Idaho 5A state championships. Last year placed third in this field with 113 points. 2 girls racing in this field that finished in the top 10 last year in the likes of Samantha Smith and Allie Bruce. And with Samantha Smith, arguably the best athlete all around in this race as we get things going here in the girls' Elite 5K race. For those that know the Smith family, they're very active in skiing. Between both her and her sister Logan, who currently plays soccer at Stanford University, they are avid skiers for the U.S. ski team. But of course, Samantha Smith, probably you could argue, is the best athlete in the family. Not only does she ski, she also is a soccer player and a really good soccer player, as she just got done competing with the U.S. U17 World Cup team in India this last fall. Scored 2 goals herself against Morocco in group play. Will actually join her sister next school year at Stanford to play collegiate soccer for the Cardinal. So we talked about Samantha Smith. And there's Allie Bruce, who, when they both came in, had great freshman campaigns, kind of struggled a little bit during the COVID times, and was able to pick it up throughout their junior races. But Allie Bruce, another contender in this race to keep an eye out for, was 10th last year, as I said, in this elite field. Has a lifetime best of 17:16 from her sophomore year. So it's been a few years since she last ran that fast, but was second overall at the Idaho 5A state championships last year. As you see another athlete early on, that is Skyline's Neela Roberts, one of the few, actually the only Idaho competitor from last year that competed at NXN. Finished 24th overall at Nike Cross Nationals, was third here at the same course for NXR Northwest. But going back to the team race, talked about Boise, let's talk about Lincoln in Oregon, another great team put together this year. They were the Oregon 6A state runner-ups with 5 runners back, including Keira Saavedra, who was the lone competitor for the Cardinals at NXN last year. And then there's Sophia Malinowski, solid middle distance runner, and Amelia James. And then they add this year freshman Ellery Lincoln. So going back to Keira Saavedra, the senior this year, lifetime best of 17:47.8, was 88th last year at NXN and secured the 6th and final spot at NXR Northwest to head as an individual. Was 4th last year at the Oregon 6A state championships. Certainly be in the mix for that race. So we look at the early K marks. Neela Roberts, one of the top runners in all of Idaho, out front early. And is right next to her, Allie Bruce. And then Audrey Orme. Audrey Orme, one of the additions of Boise this year. Just a sophomore, and had an impressive 18:27.66 5K time at the Willow Lane Cross Country Classic. And to give you perspective where she was as a sophomore, her best time, or her time when she started off in cross country as a freshman last year, ran 20:41. So well ahead of where she was at last year as a freshman in her sophomore campaign. So improving by over 2 minutes. So it appears no Jane Hendegren in this field. So we will not see the Tim Few stand out perhaps chase after a course record, but make it back-to-back championships in the elite race. But as we see Adria Favero out of Olympus, just a freshman, now in front, ran 18:18 for a 5K so far this year and a 17:34.93 mile. So far in her high school debuts, won 3 of 4 races, including the Park City Twilight and the Timpanogos Invitational. Her only loss, second place at the Border Wars. So someone that will obviously be in the mix of races and just fell short of making it 4 for 4 this year. So team standings wise, Boise is out early, unofficially 35 points. So a great start for the Braves, and a strong start for that matter. As we go through the first mile, and that's Adria Favero, 5:36. Right next to her, Ava Trimble of Orem in Utah. And then Audrey Orme in third. So no surprises, Boise out front in the team standings early on with 60 points unofficially, and then Lincoln, based on their rankings, should finish right behind Boise, but they are currently sitting in second with 121 points. As we look at the 1 mile splits, Favero, Trimble, Orme, then there's Allie Bruce, then Ryland Stevens of Mountain View. And then Lincoln's top runner, Keira Saavedra, for the Cardinals at 5:38 for that first mile. So, going up the first hill here. Course has been beaten up, so perhaps it could be challenging for a lot of these athletes. Over this next race, you see Samantha Smith in the red right there. Again, the Stanford soccer commit, arguably best athlete in this field. One of the craziest stories, like I said, competed for the U.S. World Cup U17 soccer team this last fall in India, and was able to score 2 goals against Morocco in group play. And more athletes continue to run up the hill, as the top 3 has been solidified here in this first half of the race. We had Favero out front, along with Trimble and Orme for the 1, 2, 3. The first place Boise being led by Orme so far, with Allie Bruce right there in fourth, as you can see on the split screen right here. So a solid duo from the Braves. Orme and Bruce in third and fourth. And Saavedra moving up into fifth for the Cardinals. As the Braves now have 3 girls in the top 15, and throwing Samantha Smith into the mix. Neela Roberts early on had the lead, has now fallen back into 10th place. Neela, who was second last year in this elite race, was also the Idaho 4A state champion, has had a really, really good career throughout her time at Skyline. A lot of ebbs and flows, but really has been a solid career for Neela Roberts. Of course, multiple time state champion, most recent in cross country as well as track. Won the Idaho state title in the 16 and 3200 last spring. We're starting to figure out who's out front early on, and it's Adria Favero, the freshman from Olympus in Utah. Of course, the same high school that JoJo Jordan goes to. We'll see him in the boys elite race. Looking at the team standings, Boise's still out front, 70 points, but Lincoln chipping away, getting right back into the mix in second. They cut their lead to 32 points. And just a little bit about Adria Favero. Yes, she's a freshman this year, but it's no surprises that she's out front given based on her resume from her club cross-country season last year. As she was a runner-up finisher in the girls 13 to 14 4,000 meter race at the USATF National Junior Olympics in cross-country. Had an undefeated record going up into that race. Unfortunately, fell short of the national title just by 23 seconds to none other than another great freshman in Sophia Rodriguez, who currently now runs for Mercer Island after transferring from Pennsylvania to the state of Washington this year. So if there's one eighth grader to lose to, it might as well be the eighth grade world record holder in the 5,000. But really a smart race by the young freshman from Olympus, Favero. We're coming up on the 2-mile mark here. Right through at 11:19.1, and Audrey Orme not letting go. So we can see those two, no change right there as Ava Trimble is in third. Then Keira Saavedra from Lincoln moves into fourth ahead of Allie Bruce of Boise. Neela Roberts, though, 4 spots up from where she was at, so she's making her way back up. Then there's Haley Sullivan of Skyline in 7th, Madison Antonio in Jackson, Paisley Taylor from Meridian here in Idaho, and then Faith Johnson from Ohi rounding out that top 10. And for those that don't know, course record, at least for the Bob Firman Invitational, stands at 17:25.8, held by the defending champion, who unfortunately is not here today. So we'll not see a back-to-back individual champion this year, but on the team side, it's just getting closer and closer between Boise and Lincoln. As now Lincoln is chipping away, cutting the lead now to 19 behind the Braves. Over halfway through, and it's still a tight battle up front between Favero and Orme. And wind starting to pick up here. See if that's a factor over the final stretch, as the wind was blowing into the home stretch. So it'll be a very tough finish as we get closer and closer to the finish line. As Favero takes one look at her watch. And off to a great start in her high school campaign. Just suffering the one loss. As the girls will go over the beach one more time before making their way over to the hill that either makes or breaks this race. So now a slight advantage, 1 second ahead, and we have Keira Saavedra moving into third for Lincoln. As Allie Bruce now falls back into 9th place, so bit of a change-up team standings for Boise and Lincoln. We'll see how that shapes up over the course of this last K. But Faith Johnson now moving up 6 spots from Ohi. Last year ran in the Division I Section 2 race. Johnson did. Was 4th overall. And finished 8th at the Idaho 5A State Championships last year with a lifetime best of 18:07.9. So while it's a good battle for first and second, it'll be a good battle in the mix for 5th, 4th, 3rd, anything in that top 10. So one last push up the hill for Favero. As Orme just calmly waits and sits on her shoulder. And that's Keira Saavedra, followed by the rest of the chase pack. So Favero using the downhill to her advantage, increasing her lead. But Orme not giving in at all. So 2 more turns to go. Sweet now. Team race inching closer and closer. Boise at 76 and Lincoln at 87. And Keira Saavedra is able to catch up to Audrey Orme here over the final stretch. Be interesting to see how the team standings pile up over this last K. It's Adria Favero, just a freshman out of Olympus in Utah. Having herself a great race. As Favero now begins to open up her lead. She'll make one last turn in this Elite Girls 5K race. As she comes down the home straightaway with a comfortable lead. Lifetime best is 18:18.5. Now, of course, she ran at the Timpanogos Invitational. And how about this? Adria Favero, with Jane Hendren out of the lineup, open up an opportunity for the freshman for Olympus. She will be your champion at Bob Firman in the girls' elite race. Unofficially 17:50.8. A 28-second lifetime best for Favedro. And how about this? Ellery Lincoln. What ground she made up over that last K for the Cardinals. And she's followed by Keira Saavedra in 4th. Then there's Jaylee Jenkins of Union, Faith Johnson of Ohi, Madison Antonio. Our last year's runner-up, Neela Roberts, finishes 8th. And Samantha Smith, the all-around athlete, finishes 10th for the Braves, followed by Allie Bruce in 12th. So 3 runners through for Boise, 2 for Lincoln. And a huge makeup from Ellery over that last stretch. At one point sitting in 11th with a K to go. Makes her way up into 3rd and finishes 3rd overall. The champion Favero at Olympus 17:50.8 over Audrey Orme 17:57. Lincoln's got 4 runners through. And now they have their 5th runner through. So currently unofficially with 74 points, and we'll see what Boise has to offer here Really a strong race overall, ran by head coach Eric Detman's group out of Lincoln. And Lincoln, how about this? What a last K for them. Just 19 points down behind Boise at one point. Pulls off a 26-point unofficial win over the hometown Braves. So in the die-stat rankings, Boise was number 26, Lincoln number 32. Called that one an upset here in the girls' elite team race.
All right, gentlemen, last one through. One more run out. Go ahead. Taking it this time. Last run out.
Truly was an exciting finish there in the girls' elite 5K race, at least on the team side. Heading into the last K, Boise had a 19-point lead over Lincoln, but in the end, the Cardinals able to pick up a 26-point win, scoring unofficially 74 points to the Braves 100. So really an interesting last K. We'll see how that all develops, as we do have a couple interviewers on site. We'll hear from Coach Eric Detman at some point with an interview with Dystat. But our heads